Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Now I am going to discuss the topic Thought creates the world after the prayer. Buddhi priyaya buddhaya prabuddhaya sukhaya cha haraye vishnave tubhyam namas sarvatmane guru. Thought, the origin of everything. Everything in the material universe about us had its origin first in thought. From this, it took its form. Every castle, every statue, every painting, every piece of mechanism, in short, everything had its birth, its origin first in the mind of the one who formed it, before it received its material expression or embodiment. Mind has got various preoccupations. When an artist begins to draw a picture on the canvas, he draws the picture out of the material preconceived by the mind. After all, the world is merely an idea or thought. Just as a seed begins to germinate at its proper time and place, so also the seed appears as the visible through the sankalpa of the mind. When the mind ceases to think, the world vanishes and there is bliss indescribable. When the mind begins to think, immediately the world appears and there is suffering. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. This is Descartes' fundamental basis of philosophy. This is in accordance with Sri Shankara's statement that the Atman cannot be elusive. For he who would deny it, even in denying it, witness its reality. The universe is rendered visible by mind, but it is a pity that nobody has seen the mind save a seer. When you seriously and unceasingly think over the nature of the mind, it is nothing. When you begin to analyze mind, it is nothing. It dwindles to airy nothing. It is a bundle of thoughts, and the thought, I, is the root of all thoughts. This I is a false idea, a non-entity. When the root of all thoughts vanishes into nothing, where is the boasted mind? The first thought that arose in your mind was aham, I. The last thought or vritti that will arise in the mind before it is absorbed in Brahman will be Brahmakara vritti, which is produced by your feeling that you are infinity. Universe, a creation of the cosmic mind. Okay. The universe is not mental creation of Jiva. One single organized thought of the cosmic mind has materialized as the seeming universe. This phenomenal universe is but an outcome of the divine will, seeming to be a real through the workings of the mind. Before you write out a drama, you have a vivid mental picture of the whole drama in your mind. Then you write it out in succession in 4 acts. When it is staged, it is acted in succession, part by part. Similarly, the universe, with its a vivid mental picture in the cosmic mind, in the mind of Ishvara. There is neither past nor future for him. Everything is present for him. There is neither near nor far for him. Every place is here. Every time is now. The events come out in succession on the stage of the long world drama as time rolls on. Atoms rotate continuously. Old becomes new and new becomes old. In reality, there is no such thing as a single. The jivas with individual minds are witnessing the events in succession. But Ishvara knows all events at one sweep. He is Sarvajna. He is Sarvavit also. He knows everything, every detail of his creation. The cosmic mind creates the Maya. Individual minds receive things under delusion. The Jiva and the universe are Brahman in their innate condition only. Ishvara and Maya. All the samskaras float in Maya. Suppose there is a very big mirror. You can see in the mirror the reflection of all persons who move in the street. All cars, all categories, carriages which pass along the road. You can be simply watching these movements from a distance in the mirror without being affected in the least. Even so, the movement of this whole universe take place in the bigger mirror of Maya. Ishvara or the Lord of the universe is simply witnessing everything. He is a silent Sakshi. When the Adrishta, the hidden power in karmas of the jivas ripens, Ishvara simply wills and the universe is projected. Reality of the universe lies in Sankalpa of Manasa. This ever agitated Manas, having come into existence out of the ineffable Brahman, creates a world according to its own Sankalpa of your Manas, that the universe appears to be, and it is the Sankalpa that is asked to be given up by you if you wish to soar to the one reality beyond the universe. Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi Yoga Rudha Stadochyate. He is said to be established in yoga who has renounced all his sankalpas. With the growth of a paltry sankalpa, there will arise the universe. With the extinction of the former, the later also will disappear. The annihilation of sankalpa, all conception of differences between the seer and the seen will vanish, and then the reality of Brahman will begin to shine uninterrupted. Then the shadow of all the universe, movable and fixed, will be found absorbed in it in a non-dual state. With the contemplation of I, all the train of ideas of the universe will set in, otherwise, all the universe will vanish as instantaneously. as darkness before the sun. Mind and I are one. Destroy the I, then the mind is destroyed. Manaha kalpitam jagat. World is an imagination of the mind. This legend mean of the world is enacted by the mind alone. Manomatram jagat. Mean what you call world is the mind only. Mind is the world. The mind manifests itself as the external world. This universe is no other than the mind itself. Like a dream generating another dream in it, the mind having no visible form will generate non existent visibles. This perishable universe exists only when the mind exists but disappears with the absence of the latter. If the mind, which is instrument of knowledge, perception, and activity, vanishes, with it disappears this subjective world also. There is a corresponding notion and object for every shabda. There is a notion and an object more idea. It is Sankalpa Matra. It is Bhranti Matra. It is Kalpana Matra. It is Akasha Matra. It exists in name only. Vacharambhanam vikaraha namadheyam mruttiketyeva satyam. All modification being only names based upon words. The truth being that all is clay. The entire world is a combination of 5 elements. Analyze, realize, and illusory nature of all objects and abandon all false objects. When you begin to analyze, the whole world vanishes, and with it the notion, sound, and objects also. The happiness and misery experienced in this world are caused by the working of the mind. All the hosts of pains and pleasures arise from the mind only. They will perish through stainless discrimination and spiritual sadhana. The 3 worlds are created for the pleasures and the pains of the mind. Suspension of the mental activity will cause the 3 worlds to disappear with the misery. With the destruction of the mind, all the 3 periods of time vanishes into nothing. By controlling the mind, all occult powers are acquired. If the mind is not controlled, all else become useless and painful. Therefore, the mind should be annihilated. Mind functions within the 3 categories. Mind always functions within the categories of time, space, and causation. These 3 categories are mental creations only. A coconut tree is not really 20 feet high. The height is only a mental interpretation. There are vibrations only outside. It is the mind that creates length, breadth, height, thickness, dimensions, wide, square, etc. A distance of 2 miles comes out of feeling only. You actually feel that you have walked so much distance. When you transcend the mind, all these categories vanish entirely. Annihilate the mind, therefore, through Brahma Vichara, you will enter a realm of peace and Ananda, which is eternal, infinite, and causeless. The why and how of the universe, a transcendental question. Mr. Narayan, my friend, who is standing before me, is my own mental creation. Even this world is my own mental creation. Abhava or non existence is said to be an object of perception. Since non existence of a thing means its existence somewhere else. According to the identistic theory, there is no world at all in reality. It is all mere mental imagination. This is Vijnanavada of Buddhists. According to realistic theory, the world is a solid reality. Even the dualist school of Madhva and Visishtadvaita school of Ramanuja and Raja Yogic school of Maharshi Patanjali hold that the world is real. Jagat Satyam. Kant has demonstrated that space, time, and causation are not objective realities, but only subjective forms of our intellect, and the unavoidable conclusion is that world, so far as it is extended in space, is running on its time and ruled throughout by causality, is merely a representation of our mind and nothing beyond it. A finite mind that is gross and conditioned by time, space, and causation cannot comprehend the why and how of the universe, a question that is transcendental. The question has never been answered by anybody, by any Shastra, by any sage or Acharya. Do not rack your mind on this point. You can never get a solution for this problem. It is Mausa of Brahman to create this universe. It is his Leela Vilasa. It is his Nyaya. It is his Swabhava. Non-existence of the world, what it means. The Abhava of Jagat or its Nasa does not mean the annihilation of mountains, lakes, trees, and rivers when your determination that this world is mithya, mean illusion, gets stronger, this world is mithya, gets stronger and stronger, and when you are well established on this idea that this world is illusory like mirage, this alone is destruction of the world. You cannot destroy a mountain, but you can destroy the idea of a mountain. The universe is like a swapna in Jagat. Just as there is the image in the mirror, this world is a big image in the mind mirror. The mind is like a big chaddar, mean thick cloth, painted with various pictures. There is neither painter, nor canvas, nor any material for painting such as brush, dish, oil, powder, etc. The picture of the universe appears depicted on the spotless Jnana Akasha. The play of the mind arising out of Chaitanya constitutes this universe. So mind is Maya. Maya is mine. The workings of the mind are nothing but the workings of Maya itself. Attraction or attachment in the mind towards form is Maya. Identification of one's own self with the mind is Maya. How the mind manifests as the world. The motion or vibration of prana moves the mind. The moment of the mind generates the universe. The mind manifests itself as the external world. Nama Rupa arise owing to Vikshepa Shakti, one of the powers of Maya. The Vikshepa folds operates both in the Jagrat and Swapna states. The whole world is projected on account of this power only. In sleep, it disappears. The world enters the mind through the eyes, ears, tongue, and world samskaras. If you remain in the seclusion, you can shut out these first three doors. Through vichara, you can destroy the samskaras, the fourth root. The jnana will dawn. All the universe with their heterogeneity, though really Atma Jnana, shine as worlds only through our illusory mind, like the blueness of the sky, which is really non existent. The self light of Parabrahman alone is appearing as the mind or this motley universe. Mind is Prajna Shakti, matter is Bhuta Shakti, Prana is Kriya Shakti of Brahman. Everything belongs to Brahman. In reality, there is no Jiva. There is Brahman only. The mind, whichever rises and falls with the ebb of desires, fancies this illusory universe to be through its ignorance, but it should be informed of the real nature of this world. Then it will cognize it to be Brahman itself. Our body, work, home, and circumstances all comprise our external world. I am the energy that we call consciousness or the soul. Everything else is outside us. Our outer world is important to us, but we need to understand how this world is created. But when things do not work out the way we want in spite of our efforts, we need to look at the connection between our outer and inner worlds. We are conditioned from childhood to think that our feelings, memories, and thoughts are dependent on the outer world. We can check if we have been conditioned this way. Some signs of it are thoughts such as, I am upset because of what they said. I am disturbed by what is happening to the plant. Such thoughts strengthen our conditioning, which tells us that whatever is going on in the mind is the result of what is happening outside. Since things outside are not entirely in our control, we end up creating stress, worry, fear, depression, and panic. We tell ourselves that the world is in a mess, so obviously I cannot be happy. This is why during the first 2 years of the COVID pandemic, which is a physical health issue, there was a marked rise in reported cases of mental health issues. But when we change the equation, recognizing how our outer world is being created by our thoughts, we gain control over our life. We can test this. Just create a thought and see if the thought just remains in the mind or does it affect my life. If we think it has been a beautiful day today, we feel nice. But if we think that the day has been terrible, how do we feel? Our feelings are the first to be affected by our thoughts, but we tend to focus on our feelings. I am feeling good today. I am feeling well. We do not recognize that our thoughts have created those feelings. Our thoughts also radiate vibrations which affect the body. Medical science tells us that the majority of diseases are psychosomatic, caused or aggravated by a mental factor such an internal conflict or stress. What we call lifestyle diseases are not caused just by our diet, level of physical attractivity, and sleep patterns. We may be eating the healthiest foods, but if we create the wrong kind of thoughts, their effect on the body will eventually show in the form of an illness. Then our thoughts shape our relationships. We may be on our best behavior with someone and say all the right things, but if we have critical or judgmental thoughts about them every day, they will catch that from our vibrations. We also worry about the people we love. What if something happens to them? This will deplete our energy as well as theirs. It is much better to come for others, which nourishes and empowers them. Our work gets similarly affected by our thoughts. I may be working sincerely and hard, but if I am jealous, comparing myself with others, trying to outdo them, I will not be happy. The same applies to the environment and the planet also. Just as the atmosphere of a house is created by the vibes of those who live together, the current state of the planet is the result of thinking of all those living in it. So, to fix our outward, we can start by putting our inner world in order. Mind has got various preoccupations. When an artist begins to draw a picture on the canvas, he draws a picture out of the material preconceived by the mind. After all, the world is merely an idea or thought. Just as the seed begins to germinate at its proper time and place, so also the sphere appears as the visible through the sankalpa of the mind. When the mind ceases to think, the world vanishes and there is bliss indescribable. When the mind begins to think, immediately the world reappears and there is a suffering. The universe is rendered visible by mind, but it is a pity that nobody has seen the mind save a seer. When you seriously and unceasingly think over the nature of the mind, it is something. At the same time, it is nothing. The last thought or vritti that will arise in the mind before it is absorbed in Brahman will be Brahmakara vritti, which is produced by your feeling that you are infinity. Shri Kanta Kalyani Nidhi Nidhi Shri Venkateswara Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasasana Pradacharya Purogame Sarveshya Purvairacharya Sarvatayastu Mangalam.